This research, which I did with a woman called Jessica Yanes Garcia, is about what I call loan traps. These are fraudulent loans that criminal groups give on the informal market to vulnerable groups. Most of the time, these are fake loans. So you promise a loan and then you steal the deposit, but you never give the loan. Or they change the interest rate and then try to basically extort the people. And what we study is how this works, how this affects people, and the relations with poverty, and how we could better protect these people on a more policy level. So we did two things. To understand what we're even talking about, we tried to basically participate in the fraud. So we got, I think, 20 phone numbers of informal money lenders, and we called them to see how it would work. And then we did, I think, 36 interviews with victims of this. We did advertisements in the newspaper and online, and we got hundreds of people replying to us, but only 36 would actually do the full interview with us. And so we did those interviews with the victims, and that's what we use as our information for the core of it, besides literature and talking with the government, etc. In terms of social relevance, this is in essence about common people who get taken advantage of. For example, one of the common reasons why people do this is that they have a medical emergency, but they don't have IMSS, so they need money suddenly. And it's tragic because they A, don't get the loan, and B, lose all the money they did have. So that's, I think, very social relevant to try to prevent these type of things, because they do affect the more vulnerable people. This is both a consequence and a cause of poverty. But the interesting thing is that people do have some agency. You could avoid this if you have the right information, if you know the red flags, if you know what to look for when you're trying to lend money. You can avoid this. So that's interesting to me. How can we help people avoid falling in this trap? One of the things we noticed about the nature of the problem is that it's a lot about information. If you try to get a loan like this, you have to give them all information about you, financial, where you live, etc. And they give you nothing until it's too late. Like, they're very untransparent, which is a weapon, because most of the people, I would say 90% of people who are victims, do not report this because they're scared, because the criminals know where they live and they know everything about them. So they often choose not to prosecute. So I think information plays a very big role there, and it's also about, I would say, I think the government could do more to make people aware of this danger, that there's a relatively high risk that you will get scammed if you try to get an illegal loan. The other thing that we saw is that you falling in this trap is often a consequence of poverty. So you, for example, a lot of people that took out a loan were people who could no longer work. Let's say they broke their leg or they lost their job or something, and they tried to start a very small business. Business is even a big word. Selling something on the street, right? Selling tortas on the street. And they tried to get that initial 30,000 pesos to start that. If we could better protect these people so they don't have to try informal economy, I think that would prevent people from trying to get these loans in the first place. I think you should find a good balance between what you are interested in and what other people would be interested in. You need to follow your passions, but you also need to take this question of relevance that you asked me. I think it's a very important question. Looking at what society needs to look at right now and follow that. And the other advice I would give to people in general is to try to go for volume, to not aim too low. Let's say you do interviews, don't wonder, oh, maybe that person doesn't want to talk to me. Just ask them. In my experience, about half the time, important people do answer you and do want to talk to you. Try it and try to get as much data as possible. I do think we have quite a bit of work ahead of us, because with that volume, right, we have over 200,000 students, you get this trade-off between quantity and quality. But I think our university is super important within the state. And I think, especially in research, we're making quite big step forwards. If you look at the volume of SNIs that have passed in this chair, they're quite a lot.